The Powell-Cotton Museum is working on a programme at the moment called Reimagining the Museum, and at the heart of that programme is our vision People Matter, which is encompassing every aspect of the work we do back of house and front of house. And a big part of that is to reintegrate into the museum voices, perspectives, stories that have been very consciously silenced from the museum's history. We've been working on some big interpretive projects. We have dioramas. It's what the museum is famous for. They've always been viewed as objects of science. And we're working on a large-scale project called Colonial Critters, which wants to reappraise these in light of their colonial context and to kind of understand the social history of natural history. We also have some contemporary collecting projects underway. It will be the first time the museum has collected from the African continent in 70 years. And in terms of audience development and our engagement work, we're looking quite what we call hyper-local. You know, we're in Thanet, which is an area of very high deprivation. There are a lot of socioeconomic problems. We also acknowledge that we are a collection of African and Asian material culture and natural history in an area where 95% of the population is white. So how do we tell that story? How do we work with that audience? I think my biggest piece of advice is take it slow. You know, communities are wary, groups are wary of working with you when you are funded by a time-limited project because they're worried that you want something from them very quickly and then you're going to drop them very quickly because the funding has run out. People need to understand that you're not using them and you need to show them that you're not using them. So that's one thing that I'd say. Another piece of advice would be know your limits. I'm going to be completely honest, we're doing far too much. We're currently sort of mapping out all these different projects, and there are certain elements that we're probably going to have to put on hold for a couple of years because we just don't have the staffing. And I think, you know, is your project sustainable is a really, really important thing because it takes so much effort and it's so inefficient when you have to start doing bits of work again because you haven't made something sustainable, it's stopped, and then you've had to pick it up again. And that's one of the reasons that we've built into the Breaking Out of the Museum project that we're creating a sponsorship program so that we can keep those loans boxes freely circulating around schools in Thanet. So take your time to make relationships, don't overstretch yourself, and make sure your projects are sustainable and have a legacy are my three big takeaways. The other part of Breaking Out of the Museum is our World on Our Doorstep project. And that looks at how we teach empire, African history, and kind of the impact of all of that today to primary school children. And lots of people told us we were mad, like this is too complicated to teach children, and you know, and we've had such brilliant feedback from the teachers. And actually, some of the activities we've put in, they've asked us to make them more difficult and to sort of allow the children to interrogate historical sources themselves more. And there's definitely a willingness and an interest. And I would just say for anyone looking at either how we promote anti-racism, how we talk about a lot of really difficult subjects, historical and present day with children, don't be put off from doing it because you can totally do it.